o'clock p.m. I am now calling the meeting to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Ackrey?
Here.
Commissioner Downing?
Here.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Commissioner Tubby?
Here.
Mayor Washington?
Here.
We have our quorum and are duly qualified to conduct business.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I don't believe we have any presentations at this time. Madam City Manager.
Good evening. A couple of updates for you tonight. The first one is that our ad hoc snow committee just met a little while ago and had some good conversation around the challenges when it comes to snow and sidewalks. They will be having their second meeting on March 4th. The second update I have is that the 4th Street Bridge demolition is still slated for the first week in March. KYTC has been putting out more communication about what to expect, and our communications team is working closely with them to specifically provide information to the Licking Riverside neighborhood. So they will be coming out with more information as we get closer to that first week in March. The other thing I wanted to share is that we do have a meeting scheduled with KYTC for this week to specifically look at traffic information for the Girl Scout Bridge, for the 12th Street Bridge, and potentially discuss some solutions to the traffic issues. So just wanted to let you all know that. And then the last thing I had was that we are requesting a presentation by Sebastian Torres, our Director of External Affairs, at your next meeting to give you some updates on ongoing legislation and bills being introduced in Frankfurt that might affect the city.
Any questions for the City Manager? Commissioner Tebby?
Just a quick question regarding the 4th Street Bridge, because I had a couple people reach out to me. Will the public be able to view the demolition of the bridge?
There will be areas designated for viewing from which they'll be able to see it. Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the manager? Without objection, next week we'll have a presentation by the Director of External Affairs on pending legislation pending before the Kentucky General Assembly. At that time, we'll be asked to take a position on that legislation. Okay, next item of business, items for consideration. Administration Department, Madam City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. So this memorandum of agreement before you has two parts. One is the stormwater mitigation funding portion, which is for about $6 million, and it's related to the Brent Spence Bridge project and the flooding in Pieselberg. So that's the first part of the MOA, and the second part of the MOA is a community infrastructure portion, which is for $1 million. So the stormwater portion is specifically for design and implementation of improvements along Euclid and Highland Avenue that I believe have been talked about for a couple of years now. So we will be able to get that designed and implemented as part of this funding allocation from KYTC. The second portion, which is the community infrastructure portion, is for planning, design, construction, and so on of public infrastructure and designated roadways. And we might want to think about these as gateways into the city, corridors that we want to enhance that might be affected as part of the Brent Spence Bridge project. So both of these funding sources are reimbursable grants. So as and when we do these projects, we will get reimbursed from KYTC, just like we have for several other MOUs and MOAs that we have with them. And we also have 7 years to complete both of these projects.
Any questions on that? Without objection, consent? Okay, item number 2, Director Elizabeth Wetzel of Special Projects.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I have 2 items for you this evening. They're both related to the Brent Spence Bridge corridor construction project. The first one is a request for an order authorizing the mayor to execute a quitclaim deed of conveyance of Willow Run parcel as the city as grantor and KYTC as grantee for the purpose of KYTC constructing a surface road parallel to the newly aligned 7175 corridor.
Any questions? Or
So that is the blue highlighted area there, that little sliver next to the interstate.
So that's the area next to the Toyota dealership.
Yes.
There's a walking path there, former Willow Run. There.
Yeah, I think walking path is generous. It's kind of a
It's yeah.
caged area.
It is. That very well put. It is a caged. It is a caged area. Yes. Any questions for Director Wetzel? Without objection, consent. Thank you. Item number 3, please.
Okay. The next item is a request for an order authorizing the mayor to execute a grant of exclusive temporary property easement with KYTC to allow them access to parcel 401 throughout the Brent Spence Bridge corridor construction project. This one has been a bit of a longer conversation. I'll show you the area. It's thinking. Okay. So this first aerial view shows you the general area of the 3 tracts of this parcel 401 along the riverfront. And I'll show you highlighted areas that call out what 401 is, but it's 3 tracts of land. One. Oh, cool. Thank you. First is, so you can see kind of the current Brent Spence Bridge corridor right here. And then there's a little parcel here. This is tract A of parcel 401. So the construction team of the Brent Spence Bridge corridor project needs to have temporary exclusive access to these tracts so that they can bring materials in and out to the construction area project. And then next, let's see. Tract B here is in the middle, so current Brent Spence Bridge is there. Tract B is kind of in between that and Claywade Bailey over here. And then this is tract C. So right here's the Claywade Bailey. Here's the entrance to the Pete Rose Pier area up here. They're going to be actually bringing in barges with materials for the construction project, offloading them, putting them onto trucks, and taking them along their service roads to the bridge project and through this gate of the pier area. So this is Scribble Park, which isn't an official park. It's really a parking lot. So we have this MOU as part of this agreement with KYTC that they agree to restore the area upon completion of the project. That includes some cameras and lighting that have been down there. As part of this agreement, too, during the construction project, they're going to have the area fenced off so the public doesn't wander into the construction area and pose a danger. This is one of the reasons that we have the MOU that reroutes the riverfront trail down along the street and 3rd Street and reconnects there to the west. So again, to keep the public out of this dangerous construction area during the project. They're compensating the city according to the appraisals that were done on both the Willow Run project and for this parcel 401.
Any questions from Ms. Wetzel? Commissioner Ackrey?
Yes, ma'am. Do we have provisions in there to ensure if we have to close that floodgate?
Yes, we do. There's a page in here that is part of the memorandum of understanding that KYTC understands that the city has the right to interrupt anything that they're doing down there at any time if we need to put up the flood wall or access the area for maintenance.
Any other questions? So for our viewers and people to understand, Scribble Park, or the former waterfront parking lot, and also behind White Castle and the hotel, we're talking about. We're talking about the north side of those structures. And then underneath the Brent Spence Bridge, which would have been the former Doc Rusk location. So for people at home wondering where those are at. So, any other questions? Without objection, consent? Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Public Works, Director Mattioli.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The city has an MOA with the KYTC for the Scott and Greenup two-way conversion project. The KYTC allotment for this project was for $3.66 million. This work has been completed, including construction and paving. From a process standpoint, though, we are requesting approval from you for a change order in an amount of $338,487.25 for the paving and striping of Madison between 12th and 18th Street. This is an adjustment to the regular contract, which was only $1.6 million. This change order has already previously been approved by KYTC, and the cost is covered by KYTC.
Any questions for Director Mattioli? Without objection, consent. Thank you, sir. Number 4, Neighborhood Service Department, Director Holmes.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This evening I have one item for consideration, and that is a request for the mayor to execute a disposition and development agreement with AM Titan Developments, LLC. This is connected with the development at 1129 and 31 Banklick Street and 1136 and 1138 to 40 Holman Avenue.
Any questions for Director Holmes? Commissioner Downing?
Could you, just because we don't get to go through this that often, could you just remind the public what the RFP process looks like? Like, what are the criteria that we judge on, so that way they can understand when we're receiving these applications what we're evaluating on?
I don't have the rubric with me, so I can't remember everything off the top of my head, but the capacity of the developer is one thing to look at, the use, the proposed use, the value of the offer to us. Those are the main 3 things that we look at. But we do have a rubrics that we put out, and we alter those depending on what sites we have out.
Yeah, sorry, I apologize for putting you on the spot. That wasn't the intent. But there's also like the longevity of the developer and the history of the city and all that jazz. The idea that I wanted to make sure that the public understands is we go through a very rigorous process when we're determining the applicants, when we're determining what we're going to do for the site. When I was reading through the materials, it indicated that we were going to be, it was going to be is it a 16-unit apartment? Is that correct? 12?
Yeah. Started as 12, and then we negotiations with the developer. He thought he might be able to do 16. And then as we went farther and farther in, he realized he could only do 12. Okay.
So with the location that this is going to be at, given how visible that is, can you tell me how many stories that will be relative? I mean, 16 units in that parcel, it feels like that would fit in 2, but
12.
I want to make sure.
Yeah, 12 units.
12 units, sorry. Apologies. 12 units.
The developer does not have plans at this point in time. So we have plans. I can come back and share those with you.
All right. I'm just trying to, because it is street facing, I'm just trying to wrap my head around kind of where they're planning on.
Yeah, it sits in the SU district, so SU is throughout the city, so everything is going to be in context with the block face. So it's going to be close to the front of the street. It's not going to be 4 or 5 stories high. The highest would be 3.
Yeah.
Assuming it's probably going to be 2 stories just because of the type of construction, the cost associated with doing that many units. But I'd be happy to reach out to the developer and follow up with those questions.
Yeah,
next week
just,
to give you
if
an
we
answer.
can get a general idea, that it's one of those things where whenever we're able to develop city land, I think that, and put that back into public use, I think that's a good idea. I don't want to do anything to slow that process down, but at the same time, when we can give people visibility to what they're going to be driving past every day, I think that always gives a sense of calm, especially when they can see that it still fits within the neighborhood design.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions for Director Holmes? Without objection, consent. Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Thanks.
Human Resource Department, Director Lewis.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I have 4 items for your consideration this evening. However, the first item, request for an order accepting the resignation of Landon Webster. Actually, we can strike that. He never began employment with us. So I just saw that this evening right before the meeting. So, okay.
Item number 7.
Okay. The second is an order request for an order accepting the resignation of Gaurav Salvi, tax auditor in the Finance Department, effective February 13th.
Any questions? Without objection, consent.
Next is a request for an order approving the hire of Lauren Ballard for the position of lab technician in the Police Department, effective March 1st.
Any questions? Without objection, consent.
And the last item is a request for an order approving the rehire of Police Officer Mark Richardson on a 1-year contract, effective March 1st.
Consent.
Thank
Thank you, ma'am. Economic Development Department, Caitlin Bryan.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Tonight, I am presenting an ordinance adopting a text amendment to the Neighborhood Development Code related to changeable copy signs in the AUC zone and adding a measurement for sign brightness, which has been recommended by the Kenton County Planning Commission in January.
Questions? Okay, so without objection, this will go for its first reading next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item number 11, Patrick Duffy.
Good morning, or good afternoon, evening, sorry. It's been a long day. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. On January 28th, our team received an invitation from Duke Energy's Economic Development Team to apply for the 2026 Site Readiness Program. It's a highly competitive program with very few awardees. Knowing that, we still feel it is an important effort to increase the marketability of the sites that I listed and hopefully expedite the sale of these buildings to a company that will create high-quality jobs here in Covington. I'm here tonight for an order authorizing staff to apply for the Duke Energy 2026 Site Readiness Program.
Any questions? Patrick, we understand you work 24/7, so we understand why you got the times mixed up.
That's right, Mayor.
Without objection, consent. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, next item, excuse me. Next item up is the commissioner discussion items. Do I have any items for the commissioners for discussion? Seeing none, commissioner comments. Commissioner Tebby.
I'll be extremely brief. I just want to thank Director Holmes. A resident reached out to me, was it a week and a half ago, with some questions on affordable housing. Just thank you for really getting with them really quick, being flexible and working around his schedule and everything. I really appreciate that.
Commissioner Tebby, Commissioner Ackrey.
First, want to give a little shout out to Amy Kumler for the Mardi Gras parade this weekend, which was a huge success. Fire department and police made that possible. Probably the most people that I've seen in the parade, and so I wanted to call her out specifically. She's an asset to our city for sure. Secondly, I want to make an announcement that the Covington Soccer League through the Covington Rec Commission is finally live. We will be starting that league in April. It'll be a 9-week league with 8 games. We're happy to announce that FC has agreed to help us sponsor. They're going to buy every child spikes and shin guards. The league is completely free, because no cost to a Covington resident. Northern Kentucky Street Soccer League, if you've ever seen them play down at Kenny Shields Park, they're also involved as coaches and or refs. And I can't remember when the sign-up is done. March 8th, the sign-up will go offline, so anybody who is listening, if you have a child from the ages of 6 to 8 years old, please have them sign up. This is the first of many that the Covington Rec League will, or Covington Rec Commission will be putting on, that's for sure. But so pretty excited. And Greg isn't here. I want to thank Greg and his team in Parks and Rec, because they have really been super supportive and helped us get to that point. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Ackery. Comments I have is, next week we're going to have the Director of External Affairs do a presentation on pending legislation before the General Assembly. One bill that we're tracking that can have a profound effect on our great reputation as a town for food and drink is House Bill 612. That House bill, as proposed, would add it, but I personally don't think that would be good for our city. I think that would have a significant impact on our small businesses, which we are known for. So look forward to that presentation. And at this time, that's all I have. Have a good evening. We're adjourned. So.